have the greatest job in the world, and that's working with dogs.
Best in Show winner is the French Bulldog.
Winston won the National Dog Show. It was amazing. It was exciting. And to have a dog to be #1 dog in this country, you have to have great nutrition. And I always fed Pro Plan. Just like us, when we eat well, we feel good. And I just love that food and what it's done all these years to all the dogs I've bred and all the dogs I've shown.
Welcome to Pure Dog Talk. I am your host, Laura Reeves. And I have to tell you guys, I have been trying to get my friend Nancy Martin to join me on my podcast for, I don't know, maybe 10 years, almost, pretty close. Nancy, not only was Nancy a fantastic dog breeder, a very successful professional dog handler. She is married to Brian Martin, who is a dog judge and was her partner in dog handling. But Nancy has done something in her retirement from handling that I think is really, truly spectacular. And that is the creation of FIDO, which stands for Friends Involved Dog Outreach. Did I get it right, Nancy? Yes, I'm so good. And she is doing work that benefits all dogs everywhere. And she just got big awards for it. So welcome, Nancy. I am so excited to have you finally get here and share a little bit with us about what you're doing at FIDO. But first, I want you to give us the Nancy Martin 411, because as I said earlier, not everyone has been graced with the knowledge of Nancy Martin.
Okay, well, thank you for having me, and hello to everybody, all fellow dog lovers everywhere. So I went to my first dog show in 1967. I retired in early 2013 from showing dogs, group and best in show winners in every group. My breed was Dobermans and Japanese Chin. When we retired, we moved here because my husband Brian took the field rep position. Yep. And so that's the 411.
That's a really short version of the 411. When I tell you people that Nancy knows where everybody is buried throughout the American Kennel Club, I'm not just woofing on that, y'all. So Nancy, you were obviously very involved with, as we call him, Basset Boys, Basset Hounds. But you had a great deal of success, not just with the Chin, but with Samoyed and a few other breeds. What was my personal connection, you and I, for the longest time, there was 3 of us who had gotten best in shows on Spinonis.
Yeah, that's true.
Give us just one favorite dog from your time handling. One of your favorites.
Well, there's a lot of them. I've shown a lot of best in show dogs and a lot of breeds. In Sammy's in particular, it's like 16 best in show dogs. Yeah. I know. My favorite one I've ever shown of all dogs, and it is tough, was definitely Mimi, the Chin. But there were a lot of them.
So how do you go, and I think this part of the story is really fantastic and such an important part of the message. How do you go from toppest of top echelon professional handler to working with people who just can't afford to keep their pets if you don't give them dog food? What is the story, the journey, the I don't know, vision?
How did I arrive at that segue?
How did you get that segue? Yes, indeed.
So it actually goes back to our boarding kennel in Illinois. Our day-to-day vet was a girl named Donna Roush, and her clinic was in Grays Lake. She did the day-to-day stuff, the really important dog show stuff. Of course, Dr. Klein, Jerry Klein, did that for us, who's the AKC CVO. He was also our client. But with Dr. Roush, she'd come to the kennel to do heartworms and, basic upkeep. And she always used to marvel at the fact that nobody ever complained about a bill and that people just, did stuff. And so we got to talking one day about, why is it that people complain about their bill? And it's really because they can't afford it.
Mhm.
And so I said to her, I have this idea. And this is like maybe probably 1985.
Wow. Wow.
I said,
So
yeah, I said, I have an idea. We win a lot of dog food at the dog shows. Plus, we show a lot of different dogs that come and they say, oh, this particular dog could only eat that. Then you finish it in 2 weekends and now you have 300 pounds of food that they said to get. And so that's what we started doing. And what it did is we used to call ourselves the Good Sams. And it showed me that, the intersection between the pet owner and the pet owner who becomes a dog show person really doesn't exist. There really is
Mhm.
no division. It's just a sidebar. And
Mhm.
in the end, everybody has to have pets. That's what makes us the people that we are. If we don't have pets, whether we show them or they sleep on our couch really doesn't matter, or they sleep on our couch and then we show them. But no matter what, we have to take care of them. And of course, those of us within the sphere of what we do and AKC events and, being a dog handler and showing for, big time clients with huge breeding programs, nothing matters if you don't have good care. And the first and, of course, most important thing is feeding them. So obviously, I had a little expertise in that
Right.
field. So when we started doing it through Dr. Roush's vet clinic, she noticed an enormous, enormous change in the client base where Mrs. Smith would come in and she's got the 12-year-old Shih Tzu with one eye and the tongue hanging out and the claw nails that has an eye infection. And
Mhm.
she can't afford the nail clipping when she comes in for the corneal abrasion. But I said, well, what if we gave her dog food? Then she wouldn't have to pay for dog food. And so that's how the whole thing started. And so we used to bring, also during the pedigree years when they gave out coupons,
Sure.
copious coupons, we would bring them there. And so we were feeding a sizable number of dogs through that clinic. And it became apparent that you can really affect where pets' paths lead by heading them off at the path of disaster. And that's really how the whole pet food bank thing started.
That is amazing. I don't think you even told me that part of the story. That is really cool. And you moved out here, you located in Clackamas County up there by Portland, and you ran into somehow the people who were doing like Meals on Wheels. Wasn't that it?
Yeah. Yeah. So of course, the thing that was so difficult when Brian got the field rep position, I was not allowed to go to dog shows for the first 6 months. I mean, that's somebody who's doing 225 dog shows a year with 50 dogs in the truck that like crashes into a brick wall, you
Mm,
know, and then I can't hang with people
mm,
because, he's the police. And,
mm,
there were a lot of that stuff that even though we knew was going to be, part of it, it was uglier than you would think.
mm,
And so because I didn't want to do what really is negative for our sport with some of the rescue searchaways. So I found that they had a small Meals on Wheels program here. And they called it Anna Meals on Wheels.
mm,
And it was a place that I could go and not violate any rules. And also, for those of us who have an enormous background and expertise in animal husbandry and everything, there's only a tight lane
yeah,
where your shtick works.
yeah.
And so I went there and I thought, oh, okay, well, I could, yeah, this could go different. And so, it was really very simple. The first day I went to, I donated some food because we brought food with us and we just had a couple of chin. Um, I realized that what I was doing in Illinois out of our boarding kennel
Mhm,
and this were really one and the same.
mhm,
And they didn't have really what I would consider a viable pet food bank here. And in essence, that's what we did through the animal clinic in Illinois. Is we did in essence run a pet food bank. We used one of the empty stalls in the kennel there to fill with pet food. And so I thought, the Meals on Wheels thing is just a small portion of it. And so that's how the whole thing really started, where I realized why they were needing it. Because in 2008, when the economy tanked, there was just literally a line at the shelter. I mean, and it just not just in Clackamas County, in the entire country.
Yeah.
I mean, there were thousands and thousands of people, and they would drive up. And so, our shelter was like, well, if we give you a bag of dog food, could you keep it for another week?
Great.
And so that's when I realized, well, if somebody's in a situation where they're going to have to give that pet up, if not for food, if you at least feed them, then you have bought time to maybe fix the other problems. Or maybe those people will pass the trauma that they're in, or the disaster that they're in, or the negative situation that they're in. Because everybody talks about being one paycheck away from being in the crapper, right?
Yeah.
And so that includes your pets. And the thing that I want to really stress for everybody here is that, food insecurity is a household issue. And the 70% of American households have pets. So this is kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah. Yeah. It is absolutely a no-brainer. And you built that into a powerhouse. You have a huge warehouse. I've been to it. It's enormous. You have leveraged, you've taken all of your fantastic business skills that you acquired as a dog handler and put them to work building relationships with vendors who donate food. Um, Talk to us about where you are today from where you were less than 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's about, God help me, 12. So the first year when I was volunteering at, well, the irony in it is when I went the first day to volunteer at the Animals program, I had my East Coast chin crates in the back of the RAV4, and I had about 10 bags of dog food that I brought over there. And one of the ladies that was part of FIDO at the time, the little FIDO, she said, "Oh, I never saw crates like that before in my life. Do you want to be on our board?" I'm just like, okay, all right. So I go to this little board meeting, and it's like a couple of little grandmas, and I'm like, they mean well, but they had what they thought was a concept, but they had no workings. And so when I first started, we did in a year what I do in a month now. Actually, probably even less than that. And so I'll read you just for now, and then we'll tell you a little bit more how.
Yeah.
So my numbers, we just finished the numbers for this year.
For 25.
For FIDO Food Bank, right. So we affected 6,286 households.
Wow.
We used 207,000 pounds of dry food, 63,228 cans, 51,595 pounds of cat litter. We fed, over the course of the year, touched 20,013 pets.
Wow.
And we fed 1,247,366 meals.
Wow.
Yeah. And the thing is, what it really is for me, the passion and the drive and the desire is really based on one simple thing, and that's supporting the purebred dog community. Obviously, particularly the AKC, but that doesn't take away from the other registries that have shows. Right. People still show dogs. I mean, I just judged at a UKC show 2 weeks ago. It's the purebred dog community as a whole. And all of us dog people, we have so many things that are causing us solace. But the one thing that hasn't changed in basically 40 years, and probably won't really before I bite the bullet, is the Adopt Don't Shop. And it's your fault that you bred a litter of German wire hairs.
Yep. And
then you killed 10 dogs in the shelter. Yep. And no matter how hard we try, and including the Kennel Club, who has, God love us. I mean, my whole thing in life since I was 11 is purebred dogs, but they have failed miserably in that. Yeah. And there's just no ability for them to make it known that we are not the enemy. And so one of the things I will say when I speak, I always say that I am unabashedly a purebred dog person, and I make it very clear that there's tremendous support from within the dog community. But what it really comes down to for everybody out there is rescue isn't working. I mean, it's just not. I'm not saying it hasn't affected things, I'm not saying that it hasn't changed things, but it hasn't, quote unquote, worked.
Solved things.
That's okay too. That's probably PC. But the reality of it is, why? And it's really simple. Wraparound services. And what's getting, I can tell you what, it is not because I bred a litter of chins, or Brian bred a litter of Basset Hounds, or you bred a litter of wire hair pointers, or Spinoni. That's not why. And you didn't kill 10 dogs in the shelter because you had that litter. What killed 10 dogs in that shelter is 10 or 15 or 20 or 100 people that don't have the financial wherewithal to do the things that keep that from happening. And the first and most important thing is to feed them. And then you can hopefully work with other organizations to get the wraparound services. Because it's Mrs. Smith, who didn't spay her dog, that had the unwanted litter. That's what winds up in the shelter. And it may be a purebred dog. It may be. But that's not the issue. It's not because it was bred by us. It's because they couldn't afford what I consider to be the essential wraparound services that maintain the most important thing, and that's the retention of the home that the pet already has. Because there's nothing more important and nothing more, really fundamental to our future as a sport than to keep pets out of the shelter.
Yeah.
Because it is the single thing that they use against us. And I just feel that I have come up with what I think is the solution. Now, one very interesting metric for everyone to listen to is I did a lot of research early on. And one of the things that's very interesting, there's 3,749 counties in the country. And I did research on all other counties who are commensurate and populous to Clackamas. We'll just use Clackamas because that's where we're based. Sure. It's a large county, it's 1,400 square miles. It's about 500,000 population. We have a 50-dog shelter that does not traffic, does not do cats. Multnomah and Marion do cats, but Clackamas does not. So Clackamas has an extremely good metric, and it's really truly a county serving shelter. And in the last 10 years, we haven't had 10 dogs in there up for adoption. If you go to the site now, you'll be lucky that there's 6 dogs. People complain all the time on social media. I went to the shelter. They don't have any dogs. Well, it's interesting. Marion does. Other places do. Multnomah does, right? We don't do a lot in Multnomah. We've cut back on services in Multnomah, but we do. But, for us dog show people to look and say, what is something that I could do to help my sport? It's keeping the pets in the homes they already have and having them spayed and neutered. And that's it. Because every number is a ding. And so with our situation, it's just cause and effect. And it's factual cause and effect.
Yeah.
It has become abundantly clear, especially after a period of time, that wraparound services are really the first line of defense and also the last stop for pet owners that are struggling to keep the pets they already have. And the single most important thing you have to do to maintain that home is to feed them.
Feeding a beloved pet. It sounds so simple. And yet, for those who are struggling, being able to feed their pet can be life-changing. Because it's not about the food, it's about keeping pets out of shelters and with the people who love them the most.
We really believe in the human-pet bond. For a lot of people, this is the only family they have.
FIDO Pet Food Bank was founded in 2004 to work with Clackamas County Social Services to provide pet food to seniors. When Nancy Martin joined FIDO 13 years ago, she was determined to grow their programs.
We have to support that person, and the pet is the most important thing in their life.
Today, FIDO Pet Food Bank distributes close to 20,000 pounds of pet food a month. Their work includes serving the community from their warehouse in Clackamas County, delivering meals, supporting military veterans, providing pet supplies, and responding to emergencies.
We provided for over 16,000 pets already this year. That's a lot of households. My hope for the future is that people will really understand what this means and why it's important, and I hope to leave behind that I've actually done something for people's pets and really made a difference in the world.
For their commitment to serving the community and preserving the bond between people and their beloved pets, Oregon Humane Society is pleased to present FIDO Pet Food Bank with the Diamond Collar Hero Award.
Trupanion is revolutionizing medical insurance for pets by providing the best possible experience to our members. And it's not some space-age dream. It's happening now. We pay your veterinarian directly while you're checking out, and we're the only ones who can, which means you have decisions in seconds, and you don't have to wait for reimbursement. So unlike with other providers, you'll keep more money in your pocket. Ask your veterinarian if Trupanion can pay them directly, because there's pet insurance, and then there's Trupanion.
You have been recognized for that by, of all places, the Oregon Humane Society.
Correct.
Which I don't need to tell you out there in listener land is a big deal. And the work that Nancy has done to build those relationships, to make clear to the Oregon Humane Society, who just awarded her a big fancy collar award.
Diamond Collar Award.
Diamond Collar Award, thank you. The work that this icon of purebred dogs is doing to help every dog and cat. That is powerful, impactful, mind-changing work.
And I will tell you that several of the employees have donated their own personal finances since that Diamond Collar Award. Now, the interesting thing too also was the other award that I got, which was, which you can tell everybody, is also very.
You tell them. This one is a big deal.
Yeah. So I was the community hero. It's a community hero award, which is given by the Oregon Ducks and the Oregon Sports Network in conjunction with, well, let's just say their bank friend, and out of the blue. So I was nominated, and so what they did for that, I didn't get any financial remuneration or anything, but we went to the Ducks game. We had tickets and we went and we schmoozed. And then they talk about you on the radio broadcast. You get like a plug, a repetitive plugs. Right. And I've had, it's First Interstate Bank, because they obviously, sponsor that, that time on the radio. And so I had a lot of people calling me. My sister, who's from Roseburg, as you know, she went to high school with her son. People are calling, oh my God, we heard it. But it was interesting to have those two things, which are really quite divergent. But what I will say about Oregon Humane Society is when I went to the luncheon to get the award, and I think you're going to post that video on your site.
Yes, the video is going to be, actually, we're going to put it on the YouTube video. I'm going to incorporate it into the YouTube video because it's so freaking cool. It made me cry.
Yeah, no, it was pretty amazing. But in the beginning of my little acceptance speech, as it were, the first thing I said was, and I said this in my interview with them, my goal is to put you out of business. That's the goal. I mean, whether it happens or not, but that's the goal. And, they really understood it. And they actually initially were a little taken aback. But I have to say that I think they mulled it over and realized just what I was really saying. And so with that said, the big thing is, yes, I have a lot of relationships and I do get donations. But, I mean, when you need over 200,000 pounds of food, I mean, I'm at, like basically it's a lot of food, is we're not getting enough donated. So we have to fundraise. And, that's the thing is I get overshadowed by that rescue. When, and nobody's getting any big fat salaries, and so that's the other part of it, is trying to get the purebred dog community to understand that it doesn't have to be us versus them. There is another lane, and I've created it. And the other thing is, with that said, I do get calls from all over the country. And so in order to help elsewhere, I started what's called the National Pet Assistance Network. It's another nonprofit, which is what I like to refer to as umbrella services. Wraparound umbrella. And we have a website and a Facebook page. And the Facebook page, people can go, it's a crowdsource option. And somebody just posted today, you explain, broke my leg, I'm out of work, or, my husband has, some kind of treatment he's in, or my wife is sick, or, whatever. And we just need a little help. And you can get food once every 3 months, and you post on the page with your wish list, and then it gets fulfilled. And, the thing about that is it touches every state. And what's really good about that is, as opposed to our situation here where we do have a brick and mortar and you have to come there,
Right.
this is great for people who live in parts of the country where there are no services. I mean, they talk about food deserts with human and also veterinary deserts with human.
God.
This exists with pet food. And so I feel like that's the other thing, No Pet Hungry America.
Yes.
That's the guide.
I was headed
That's the
for that one.
Yeah. Well, I just want to segue because that's how my
Yep.
head went. So
Yep.
anyway, go ahead.
Well, No Pet Hungry America, I think, is so powerful because when people ask me, where can I donate? How can I donate? And they don't live in Portland, right? It gives us that option. So we will have all the links about this, but talk about, because that transition from FIDO to the Pet Network to No Pet Hungry, like you and I had that conversation, and you have literally created it out of whole cloth.
Plus, while we were at it, because we do this program, you and I and Chris Levy, whatever, with the vet students, right? Which everybody knows that. I also noticed it was interesting the first couple of years that we did that. Listening to the vets and watching. There was the haters in the back row, but what I also noticed, there was a couple of times we talked. Oh, I'd like to go watch Frenchies or whatever, but I could never afford one. Or that one, the girl with the corgi. Oh God, she'd kill for a corgi, but I could never afford one. And so for us, it also became evident in our work with these vet students.
The university, right?
Exactly, because we do this fabulous program with Chris Levy, is that they have such an unrealistic and uneducated view about what a purebred dog really is and what it takes to get one. I mean, they think it's like $25,000 that they could never afford. And so that's when we started the Dogs for DVMs, which is a subset of my National Pet Assistance Network. And so also adding to that, Sue Lackey, who is a very long-time dog person, and Lisa Sine, who's a Shar-Pei girl here. They're on the board with me, and they're a part of my No Pet Hungry America. And then we also have a girl named Ashlyn Glazer Anderson, she's got a master's degree in marketing and social media and stuff. She helps us.
Nice.
Right. But anyway, that was part of it. Is we have placed a couple of dogs with what I call baby vets.
Yes.
And we get them hooked because now they're one of us. So we're working on a Pomeranian for a girl in Maryland right now. And so if you have vet students who don't have any money, and all breeders, I mean, any breeder that has a puppy in a litter that's quality enough, that's finishable. If you had, I mean, think about this from our point as purebred dog people. If you had an opportunity to place a puppy in the litter that you could sell, for whatever your price is for your dogs, $2,500, $3,500, whatever, or place it with a young veterinarian who would then, you say to them, I'm going to give this pet to you. I'm going to keep my name on it. I'll be your mentor. You got to breed it. You got to show it. Every breed could have a baby veterinarian. And
their very own.
Exactly. And when you think of that, that is, it's enormous what could be down the line when you think of the client base of the average veterinarian during the course of a career. And the other thing, as you know, that we talk about is I tell them that I say to them, you be the change. And a big part of that is, we don't have representation in any kind of elected offices. None. I mean, there's doctors, there's lawyers, but there's no veterinarians. And how can we fight a fight with no one fighting for us?
Not just veterinarians, there's no dog people. Somebody out there run for office.
Right. But there's not a veterinarian. Exactly. And that's what we tell those baby vets. Run for office. And also, and again, all of our listeners and our friends here that we're sitting down this afternoon with, run for office. Who cares what side of any fence? Run for office to have a voice. And so all of this circles like it's circling the drain as to what can we do to save the sport, and what can we do as purebred dog people to help in the areas that nobody else is.
Yep. And Nancy, you are doing, it boggles me every time I talk to you. You have a new project. It just I
If somebody could drop $1 million me, honey, I'd have a lot of projects.
I personally think it's just an excuse to not get dragged into judging, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, there is that.
I
I
keep
mean, there
working
is
on that, y'all. I keep working on it. So, saying.
Yeah. So there is
Oh my
that.
God.
But, the other thing that I think is also interesting, you look at people within our sport that retired handlers, that's what you do is you judge or you go work for the AKC or whatever. I mean, the only other really one big professional handler that ever retired from handling and really, I think, went on to do something a little out of the ordinary was Elliot Moore because he went to vet school.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I see what this can do. I just really wish, and I could recreate this for lack of a better term. There is a franchise options. I can recreate this. I was at a conference call with somebody in Atlanta today. I mean, people from all over the country call me all the time, and they want to do this. The problem is just funding.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you guys, I'm going to make sure that you all have the links to donate, to come up with your own plan, to make your franchise. You've done it, right? You've gotten people and made Fido Pet Bank in more places in Oregon.
Yeah, we have to cut back on obviously some of them because of
Yeah.
money, but we
Yeah.
had about 10 at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. We have to cut back, but yes, we definitely did, and we there's no question that the No Pet Hungry America can sort of shore that up without the need of the expense of a brick and mortar.
Right. Right. That is always anytime you can do something like that without overhead. Trust me, it makes it all better.
Yeah, yeah,
Podcast, here's my overhead.
yeah, yeah.
All right, Nancy, I love you, man. It's great to
Yep.
see you.
Thank you.
Um, thank you for coming to talk to us about the really, truly foundationally important work that you're doing. Okay, I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.